all the way around the board. So I want to thank you for that. A lot of this is based on vision. And I think there are a lot of people in this community that have a beautiful vision about what they want Eugene to be. But without being met with action, these seeds of vision are, they're nothing. So, following this protest, I want you to have those uncomfortable conversations. I want you to have those difficult talks. I want you to put yourself in positions that you didn't think that you were possible and capable of doing. Because that's what's going to make our community change. We have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. So as I said, I am so thankful that you guys are here. I'm going to have a little bit of an educational teaching from Mr. Mark Harris, and I will let him take over before we start marching.
Guess I could donate, yes. That muffles you. Silence is violence, I've heard. Hotep, which means peace in the Comedian Egyptian language. Umoja, which means unity and peace in Kiswahili. Meshika Tawe, all my relations in Aztec. Gamshi Lahawan, which is greetings in Yankala, Kalapuya. Halito, which is from the Choctaw Nation, which is Mafo. I greeted you in 5 different languages because the traditions of this continent, Turtle Island, Tulipit Wapa Kisinep, the circuit of the world, it's a brown continent going back 40,000 years. So the tradition on this continent is multiple languages. Whether you lived in a pyramid city or a small village, there was democracy here, which included every living human being. We didn't believe in voter suppression or police brutality. We didn't believe in illegal aliens, unless you meant the Pilgrims. But even then, since they were starving, we fed them and taught them how to feed themselves, because they were starving. They didn't entirely repay us for doing that. We didn't believe in having homeless people or poor people, because all my relations means all are your relatives, without exclusion. Which children would you let go hungry? Which elders would you not care for? Which of the sick or injured would you not take care of? The concept and practice of voter suppression and police brutality were also largely imported from Europe, though people of color certainly have added some interesting refinements, if we're going to be honest. I greet you on the 65th anniversary of the lynching of Emmett Till, and the 57th anniversary of the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, organized by a gay black man, Bayard Rustin, and the occasion where Martin Luther King gave his bounced check speech. He called it the bounced check speech. It was only after his printed remarks were done that he started riffing and improvising on I Have a Dream. It is so much easier to talk about the dream than the check bounced. Pay the money that you promised us in the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. So if you've read that speech, 3/4 of the speech is him talking about the Constitution and the Bill of Rights being a promissory note that when black people, among others, tried to cash, the government said insufficient funds. Interesting. You got money to fight a foreign war against the people of color who were World War II allies, the leader of which who basically wrote a paper because black soldiers were being lynched in uniform in the streets of New York City and Mississippi. People wearing the American flag on their uniform were killed and murdered in the streets of the United States, and 5 U.S. presidents said nothing. You could consider killing soldiers in wartime an act of treason. Racism being an act of treason, yet no action was taken. Yet a communist says maybe lynching is barbaric and you should stop it. That's why myself, Muhammad Ali, other folks said, why should we go fight in Vietnam when we can't even go to the beach in Florida or California? Insufficient funds. We still have the same issues decades later, which shows a luta continua, the struggle continues. Oregon is a southern state in the Northwest, a perfect place to study institutional racism from the inside. Here in Eugene, it was legal to discriminate against black people in housing and in jobs and probably the vote too. The police could enforce sundown laws and not respond to complaints of racial and sexual harassment or arrest the people who were racially or sexually harassing people of color. We still find that to be the case. Racism appears to be legal. And inaction is the order of the day. Now, I'm a mandatory reporter, so I have to have a relationship with police, people on both sides of the law. I was on a Zoom call with the first black police officer hired in Springfield, hired in 1976. He said, the police are trained to be afraid of black people, especially black police officers. Something I suspected, but he was the first one to admit it in 2020. That's something that diversity training is not going to eliminate overnight. That's deep training, deep systemic racism. What he didn't know, but I did reveal to the first black police chief of Eugene, was that there had been a study by his organization, National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives, that since the 80s and probably 90s, 100 black police officers had been killed by white police officers while on duty. So this basically squares with, you can't just diversify the police force if the basic training is anti-people of color. You have to do more than simply diversity training. The simple answer to abolishing or defunding the police won't simply eliminate that problem either. So the simple answer is organizing to strengthen communities in ways governments generally do not. To provide programs, not just simply marching and protesting, but ongoing programs that change the conditions within society. If I may use an example. An example that was implemented here. Black Panther Party created 65 survival programs, one of which implemented here was the school lunch program, keep feeding kids, because the government wasn't doing that. A freedom school, which the curriculum is ethnic studies and rites of passage, as well as a speakers bureau, plus 63 other programs that the government wasn't implementing, but eventually, shall we say, absorbed. We need to do that again. To implement programming to serve people, house people, get people health care, teach them how to live in peace and harmony, the peace and harmony that existed before 1492. Never trust the government to do for yourself what you should be doing for yourself. If the government acts to destroy your culture, it's probably because your culture represents a living solution that threatens government. And definitely threatens governmental control. That's why genocide and slavery happened against red, brown, black, yellow, and even white people on this continent and in Europe and around the world. Voter suppression is one means of suppressing or threatening change. Computers simply made it easier to suppress by deleting people from voters' rolls. Tricks like poll taxes, making you take tests for voting, like guess how many jelly beans are in the jar, name all the judges by county in alphabetical order, that were applied to black people and people you didn't want to vote. Deleting the voting rolls is most often started out as being a Democratic trick, but the Republicans weren't slow in adopting it either. Used as a trick in the Deep South and possibly used here. We're investigating that, my wife and I. Quick plug for I2M Eugene, a multicultural history project. So let me suggest a justice chess solution. So a chessboard, which was invented by people of color, but in its latest iteration, promoted by white supremacy. So you have two sets of pieces, one white, one black. White represents the status quo. Black is not about race or a color. Black is that which stands against the oppressor and stands with the oppressed. making them wiser in the ways of the oppressor, so that they can successfully resist the oppressor and the oppressor's works by sowing, and the oppressor works by sowing fear and hate. So as my elders would tell me, free your mind and your behind will follow. The virus of racism is endemic in this country. We must heal ourselves from that particular infection, as well as COVID-19. Keep yourself strong and healthy, relaxed and calm in the face of danger. Attack your fears by building your skills against the things you fear. You and your soul are bigger than the things you fear. Work to make sure that is so. You want to be a living vaccine against the virus of racism. Ashe, Ashe Mbele, Ashe O. Stay strong, my family.
Thank you so much for that. We appreciate you, Mr. Marquez. Betty Snow is going to say a word, and then we'll have a quick Indigenous prayer, and we'll get going. I'm excited. Are you?
Woo!
Black Lives Matter!
Black Lives Matter!
I like the sound of that.
Black Lives Matter!
Black men matter!
Black men matter!
All right. You know, I am happy to be here, and I'm happy to see all of you continue with the struggle. So you should give yourself a big hand clap, because you're still in this struggle. You don't have to be like yes, Black Lives Matter, but I want to let you know that you as our allies, you matter too. You matter too. And don't tell anybody that you don't, because you do. We are all remembering the 1963 March on Washington. This march is going on all over the world. And the fight at that time was for jobs, freedom, racial equality, and justice. But here it is, 57 years later, and we're still talking about the same thing. Still talking about the same thing. I don't know about you, but I am tired of watching these horror movies of our black men being killed. I am tired of watching and hearing about black women being killed. I am tired that we should all be tired on today. You know, I thought about when we go to a restaurant, they give you a menu. And you have a menu where you can either pick some fries, or else you can pick a hamburger, a steak, or anything else. What I am saying to you all tonight, it is time for us to quit picking the fries from the menu. We need to stop that. Because it is time for us to quit asking for permission. And it is time for us to demand change. You know, when anything comes up about a black man being murdered or whatever, well, you know he was a criminal. Well, what are you talking about? Most of our police are criminals.
Yeah.
Enough to just allow us to be able to paint Black Lives Matter on the street. That's what I'm talking about. We get these little menus. Let's give them the menu of being able to paint Black lives on the street, and they'll go away for a while. There you go. But we are not going away. We are not going to stop. We should not want our kids. We should not want our relatives. A year later, we are still talking about change. When George Floyd was brutally murdered, they said that there was going to be change. I'm still looking and waiting for that change. Have you seen it? But I'm still looking for it. And I thought about, we are tired of the racism. And what I want you all to know, sometimes you may get tired of us saying that someone called us the N-word, but I want to let you know it does happen. It happens on a daily basis in this city of Eugene. So hear us. To know that these are the racist, institutional racist type of things that we as black people, we deal with on a daily basis, 24/7. Amen. When we walk out of our house, we don't know if we're going to return. All right now, mama. Man. We could be killed anytime. And I know you could too, but the statistics show that 2.5 times the black person is and will be killed by police. That is just realities, folks. So I say we need sweeping reform. Not reform that they give to us. We need the reform that we come up with to let them know this is what's needed, because I don't want to see anybody else on another black man's neck. I'm tired of shouting about it. I am tired of it. I am sick to my stomach. I'm going to have to close. But this is what I say to you. When you think about George Floyd, when you think about the knee on his neck, I would say to you, vote. Sleeping in a bed. When you lay down to sleep, think about Brianna can't sleep anymore. And I would say, vote! We take this so literally, like it doesn't matter. But we are in the most crucial time because, folks, let me tell you, your vote not only helps the black people, your vote helps the white, the brown, the blue, everyone. When we all vote, it comes together. And say to you, stay encouraged. I know things look bleak right now, but one thing I can tell you people, if we stand in solidarity, if we hold hands like a unit, if we let nothing chisel in the body come and break us up, I can guarantee you that if we vote, say it with me, if we
Vote.
If we
Vote.
If we
Vote.
change will come.
Okay, that's powerful, right? Did you hear her ancestors coming through?
Actually, I left my bottle up there. That reminds me. Thank you.
How's everyone doing? Can you hear me all right?
Yep.
Louder. Can you hear me now? Like this? Hi, my name is Ricky Black Eagle. And thank you for the honor to come up and say a prayer with you. I do have a couple of little things to say real quick. For the first time in history, everyone is standing up around the world.
All right.
Everyone around the world is fighting against an epidemic. That's not a coincidence, it's a purification. We're in a rebirth. And labor pains suck. But we are breathing new life. We are strong, powerful voices. There is so much that is changing in this world with awareness. It's just labor pains. White dominates. So there. I love you. I love you. And that's a powerful force. So let's not forget that in our hearts. And always remember there's a big difference between ego and confidence. So let me do a little prayer and I'll get off my little soapbox. To our elders who teach us our creation and our past, so we may preserve Mother Earth for our ancestors yet to come. We are the land. This is dedicated to the relatives before us, thousands of years ago, and to the 150 million who were exterminated across the Western Hemisphere in the first 400 years' time starting in 1492. To those who have kept their homelands and to the nations extinct due to mass slaughter, slavery, deportation, and disease unknown to them. And to the ones subject to the same treatment today, to the ones who survived the relocation, and to the ones who have died along the way, to those who have carried on our traditions and lived strong among their people, to those who have left their communities by force or by choice, and for new generations no longer knowing who they are. To those who search never to find, to those who turn away to the so-called non-accepted, to those who bring us together, and to those living outside, keeping touch the voices of many, to the ones who make it back to fight for the struggle of their people, to those who gave up, and to those who do not care, to those who abuse themselves and others, and to those who revive again, to those who are physically, mentally, or spiritually incapable by accident or birth. To those who are physically, mentally, or spiritually incapable by accident or birth. To those who seek strength in our spirituality in the ways of life. And to those who exploit it, even our own. To those who fall for the lies that join the dividing lines that keep us fighting amongst each other. To the outsiders who step in for good or bad. And to those of us who don't know better. To the leaders, prisoners of war, crime, race, religion, innocent or guilty. To the young, the old, the living, and the dead. To our brothers and sisters and all living things across Mother Earth and her beauty destroyed and denied the honor that the Creator has given each individual, the truth that lies in our hearts. Omatakiasin, all my relations. This is a beautiful time to build a conduit amongst the people, all the people. It's time to breathe. We've had a lot of the contractions, but it's time to breathe for a minute. It's time to self-love, doctor yourself up, get some sleep. We have a long haul. We don't take hundreds of years of program and expect it to change overnight. So take it easy, love each other. White dominates. When you see those trucks, those flags, see, for my people, we don't have a lot of respect for that flag because that's what they used when the Army came and took us. And now they're altering that. I don't know if you guys are picking up on that code of blue. Do you guys know what the code of blue is in the police department? That code of silence? That thin blue line? You don't tell on your fellow peers? If you notice, the other side is putting their flag with a thin blue line. Back the blue, back the corruption. So slow down so you see the subtleties in the signs. And remember, I love you in the oldest way. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I don't know about y'all, but what do you say we take to the streets?
lives matter.
No justice?
No peace.
All right.
I want to stay. We're at the federal courthouse by Whole Foods. I'm gonna get off now. I just wanted to stream the speeches, but there's gonna be a march on the streets if anybody wants to come support us.